Talk about a sobering statistic. I mean, it pretty much signifies the lack of success that Tulane has had on the gridiron. 18 years. No one's won their first game. That's just hard to fathom, but you can't really build momentum that way. I mean, when you're trying to build a fan base and get people interested, and you can't win your first game every year, it really sets you back, Brian. I mean, there's no question that has been a detriment to their cause. Of course, their overall performance, a bigger detriment, but again, that's remarkable if they haven't won their first game in that long.
Kenny, I share your feelings. That's inexplicable, if I can use that word. It's inexplicable to not be able to schedule someone that you can beat to open up your season. It's incredible that it's 18 years for that. So, hopefully Willie can turn that around. Coach Fritz can turn that around. So.
Yeah, it's coach's first game, of course, that we're talking about. But bottom line is that's just a remarkable statistic. Yeah. But again, it's been very difficult for Tulane, to say the least. And, when you think about overall success, you think about Tommy Bowden, but that was 2 years. Chris Selfo had a year that was very good in there, and then otherwise it's just been very slim pickings for this university. And now Willie Fritz arrives to try to resurrect the season. So I'll look back at 2015. It's not much to look at. It was forgettable, Ricky. They were 3-9, 1-7 in the American Conference. Curtis Johnson was let go. Troy Dannon hired Willie Fritz as his new head coach, new athletic director, new head coach. Now the defense does have a pair of all-conference players returning. The undersized Nico Marley, who plays big, and Tanzel Smart, who's a good physical talent and might have a pro future ahead of him. So they are not totally bereft of talent, Ricky, but obviously this is a team that needs to completely refuel and change its direction in terms of how they approach the game.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the thing been for them, though, been recruiting. I mean, it's been hard for them to get the top players over to Tulane, and that's what's been hurting their program. They've been having to get the second-tier guys. And I think that's what's been hurting them. I mean, they haven't been getting the players at LSU they don't get those players. They get the second tier guys. That's what's been hurting.
What they did this year, Willie Fritz was external in recruiting. He only had a few guys from Louisiana. It was mostly guys he knew from out of state, a lot of Georgia guys and guys out of state. But I think ultimately, Ricky, that'll probably change where it becomes a balance of guys from outside of the state and guys inside the state.
Well, winning will change it all, first of all. If you get a coach to come in and he show the whole nation that he know what he's doing and he can go out and win ball games and the tough ball games and show people that all the young players looking for is a coach that they can follow, and they'll come to Tulane.
Yeah, and I made that point because Curtis Johnson's approach was just the opposite. He recruited basically all players from Louisiana. So I think the approach that Fritz is taking is the right one. That is a combination of both. And don't shy away from the rest of the country. It's important. Tulane highlights, not a whole lot of those from last year. Look at this one here. And I point this out because both of these guys are gone by their own choice. Tanner Lee to Teddy Veal against Army. Tanner Lee to Nebraska, Teddy Veal to Southern Miss. They both could have come back, but they're both gone, Brian, largely because Willie Fritz is going to run a different offense.
Yeah, and that's one of those things. We talked about Tanner Lee. He struggled here in his couple years with the Green Waves. So good luck to him in his future, and good luck to Willie with his recruiting. And I bring this to Ricky's situation. Ricky's question is that, well, which comes first? You want to try and recruit good, talented kids coming, but they want to come to winners too. So do you win first and then they come? Because let's face it, Willie's being asked to rebuild another program again like all these first-year coaches at Tulane are.
Yeah, but his track record kind of show you that he's a different coach than those guys. He kind of turned some program around and did pretty good. I kind of did a little research on him, and to me, he's a pretty good coach to start things off and get to where you need to be at.
Good track record. He's won wherever he's been, and he'll change the look of this offense dramatically. Let's take a look at the 2016 Tulane schedule. They're going to open on the road at Wake Forest. That's certainly not an overwhelming opponent, but then you get Southern here. You should win that one. And then you get Navy here, and that's going to be a tough game, but not out of the question. UL Lafayette, a very important game to both schools. Then at UMass, at Central Florida. They were banned last year. Memphis, good program now. Tulsa, SMU, at Houston. Boy, they're elite. Temple's good, and at UConn. Looks to me, Brian, looking at that schedule, you got to make hay on the front end of that schedule. That's where the opportunity is. First 6 games, you got to win 4 of those. If you do, you got a shot to do something.
I'll tell you what, I think 4 wins would be a great season for Coach Fritz. I really do. At Wake Forest, it could be 19, Kenny. I'd like that at home a little bit better, but he's got an uphill climb, and he's going to have to do it with some guys that are not necessarily great D1 players right now. It'll be interesting to see how his offense fits into this scheme, because he's turning it all over.
Well, I think he got a chance to win 6 ball games. Just looking at that schedule,
I'm going to mark that down now.
I think he got a chance to win 6 ball games.
Okay.
I know Southern, he'll get by Southern. He got a couple of easy games there that he should win, at least about 3 of them. So
Kenny,
he follow up and get lucky and win 3 more. I think he'll win about 6
Kenny,
ball
he
games.
used the word great if the Saints would go 7-9.
Right.
If Tulane goes 6-6, that's great.
All right, there we
Okay?
go. So let's overuse that word continuously throughout this show. What a theme. It's time now for our sportsNOLA.com trivia question of the evening. The NFL draft begins on April 28th. When it ends, nobody knows the way they structure that thing these days. 3 days, right? How many players from Louisiana colleges have been the first overall pick in the draft? Again, how many players from Louisiana schools have been the first overall pick in the draft? That's first overall. Think about it. The answer when we return to talk about the Saints' biggest need when Sports NOLA TV continues.